We were looking at this because... So, Rice Bunny, you said when you try to split push nowadays, lots of people come for you and you don't know how to deal with it. Yeah, Camille was a fucked up one too. That was for a little bit different reasons, but... Yeah. Wait, you said...
30 seconds until minions spawn.
22 minutes. So... You're trying to split here. Now, here's the issue. Trying to split... So, like, at this point in the game... First of all, I need to ask you... Why the fuck? I need to ask you and every other teammate, every other person on your team, why the fuck you all have armor shoes? Especially you. But the rest of them too. In what goddamn world do you all have armor shoes? They have 4 AP champs. And ADTF does hybrid damage, like 50-50. And all this CC. Autopilot? No. Now we got to get to the bottom of that too. Because that's an even bigger problem than any of this shit. Autopilot? Y'all are telling me you autopilot your shoes? You autopilot one of the most important buys of the game? Like, every time you go to buy shoes, and, like, you're, like, it should be a, you should almost be saying it out loud. What shoes, you'll hear me say it all the time. I'll be like, what shoes do we need? Do we need armor shoes? Magic shoes? You set your defensive build path autopilot? What? Like, your shoes buy cannot be autopilot. It's concerning to go, like, that you're going against 4 AP champs with all this CC and you have armor shoes. That's very concerning. That's a big issue. Because with magic, with MR shoes, you're nearly unkillable. Lee Sin can do some damage to you, but that's it. Now, to get to the... Anyway, oh yeah, to continue what I was saying. Split pushing, I asked you, like, what happened this game, because split pushing is difficult when you're behind like this. If you... And, oh yeah, and that led me to the train of thought of, do you even know if you can 1v1 Zach currently? If you had MR shoes, I'd say you'd be like, worst that can happen is like he lives and runs. But without the MR shoes, you definitely shouldn't be able to 1v1 him. Meaning you shouldn't be splitting here. There's no point in splitting if you can't hold your own. I mean, there's no point in splitting in this scenario because your teammates are all fed. Your teammates are all fed. So you, with Baron, you just go with them and you just push and you end the game. But we're trying to tackle this pain point in general, not this specific game. And a lot of things are going to come into play. So items are going to be a big part because, you know, the harder you are to kill, the easier it is for you to escape and waste their time if you can't 1v2. So in a scenario like this, let's just use this as an example scenario. Even though, like we said, you should just be grouped in a game like this, since you're not strong enough in this island, but let's just say you were strong enough. So your job is to do what you did here, push the wave, But then you need to sit like right here in this brush. Because you should be like buffing the wave still, making it harder for them to kill. And if you stand here and let's say Zach flies over the wall, like it doesn't matter. It's not like they can kill you. You have your W, your Fiora, you have a Q. Your Q is on a 4-second cooldown if it doesn't hit anything. Like there is no catching you. And like they're here. You want them to come for you, actually. In all seriousness. Like you should sit here actually in vision. I mean, they'll know you're here just by sitting in the brush. And like you even have vision. You want them to come for you. That's like the way this works is you sit here and you can't do much like push. You can't touch them right now because your teammates aren't pushed yet. But you need this wave to survive. So once your teammates do push, you can go for the tower. But you walk away. Oh my god, you take so much damage from the 1 in 8 Annie. Because you have 54 MR. So you sit here. If someone flies over the wall, you have a 100% reactable Fiora W or Q away. Wait a second. What did you just do? I mean, this can get you killed, though. We've talked about this. What is that? What's the point of queuing there? Now, if Zach flies over the wall, or Lee Sin jumps over the wall, how do you escape? You have to get a lucky parry timing. If you have Q, you just Q away. So, but I think you did say you were tilted or something in this game. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly. But, so, you sit here, you buff up the wave. They come over the wall, that's great. You Q away, you waste their time, your teammates push. Like this? Yo. This tells me it's almost like you don't realize how impossible you are to kill. The fact that you felt the need to run all the way over to here makes me think you don't realize how slippery your champ actually is. Slippery, they can't catch her because of the Q, but also, even if they do manage to catch you, you have a way to escape because of your W and the movement speed on your ult. Like, you need to be up here, and not, like, see, you let her kill the wave because you're not buffing the wave with your Baron. Now, by the time you go over here, look, wave's dying, you're still way back here. Like, see, your teammates are finally, like, getting pushed. That means the enemy team they're gonna go here. They have to go here. You should be way up here. Still. In the brush. Or even in the lane. Because now the enemy team has to choose. Stop them in mid or stop you. If they try to stop you, you Q away. So like even if you didn't have Baron here, it's the same concept. See, like, I was scared since I was so far behind. Okay, listen. This is another issue I've noticed in low elo a lot. I talk about it a good amount. I've noticed in low elo, like, people that are behind, or just in general, but especially when behind, you guys play more safe. Like, your life is not, like, you're not worth anything. Think about it. What are you worth right now? You can't 1v1 anybody. You can't 1v2. Like, you are nothing but a tower pusher, or in this case, Baroned up tower pusher so you can buff your wave. That's it. Your life is meaningless. So you can play even more. Like, you can play even more dangerous than normal. And not dangerous as in just like do whatever the fuck you want. It means you should be more willing to put yourself in a dangerous spot to bait the enemy team and waste their time. That's what you should be trying to do here. That's the whole purpose of split pushing. If the enemy team comes for you, you absorb the pressure and you survive. If they go for your team, you take the tower. But you're not doing your part. Like, I mean, it's kind of funny that they are even sitting up here like this. Oh, it's because you're sitting on a ward. I see. Yeah, so if you were here, this would have been great. And the thing is, you gotta realize, like, okay, let's say you were sitting here in this brush. And Lee Sin, comes from behind. Zach jumps over the wall. You still live. You have so many more escape angles than it seems when you're sitting here. If they come from this way, you run that way. If they come from this way, like behind you, because they know you're there, you go over this wall. Or you even go through the tower and like towards the enemy team's base and towards your team. Like you have a lot of options. You are so unkillable. Especially if you're building right and winning lane. Both of those make this even more impossible for you to die. You guys didn't lose this game, right? This game should end here. Okay, so... See, like... Look. Actually, wait. Okay, you made a good point. They had 4 tabbies against 4 AP. Of course they lost. Okay. You make a... you make a good point. Anyway, so, like, you have to... Like, if I'm looking at this screenshot right here, and I see Fiora way back here, and the team up here, there's a big problem. There's a big disconnect. Either they push too fast, or you push too slow and are not in the right spot. Because we've seen what happened previous, we know what that answer is. So now the enemy team should look now you see, because you didn't like keep your wave. By the time you get your wave ready again, now their wave is dead, and now it's about to happen again. I'm pretty sure. And see, like the whole point of the Baron is to make waves not easy to kill. But you have to buff it up. Like, you have to do something. Especially when you're 1 in 5. You might as well hit the tower in front of their face at this point. Okay, here we go. Nice parry. Godlike parry. Okay. Zach might be able to catch still, I'm not sure. Nah. Uh-oh. No, you're gonna let them kill you. Okay, you let them kill you like this. Okay. So, this is what I'm talking about with how slippery you are. Now, here's the problem. You gotta remember, it's like a racetrack. Right? It's like a racetrack. So, it means you should be, straight line. I mean, as Fiora, actually, you could even go this way and hop the wall. You can go wherever you want, really. But if you're going to take this path, you go straight line and you take the inside track every time. Look, straight down, straight down. As soon as you go wide, right there is how you died, or you could potentially die here. You should still live, but this is how you could die. I know you're thinking like maybe to dodge the Zac Q or something like that, but it doesn't matter. They can't catch you. If you just keep going straight and don't give them any ground, and don't turn at all, you just keep going straight, they can't catch you. Now that you're running wide like this, now they're catching up to you. And then you queued into the wall, sadly, a little bit. You should still be fine. You have parry coming up. Oh, brother! Okay. Oh! Oh! Also, really quickly, now that I see this whole thing, I can tell you with, like, near certainty, you could 1v2 them. Sadly, your champ is actually broken enough to 1v2 them, if you had the right items. Notice how hard it is for them to kill you here, without the right items. It was so hard for them to kill you. Actually, it was impossible for them to kill you, right? Like, if you did the things we were just talking about. But this is why I said a lot of factors play into this. Like, and no matter what the game is, a lot of factors play into this. Like items, how fed you are, how fed they are, who's coming for you. So like the enemy support in top laner coming for you like this is like nonsense. They can't do shit. So this particular game, you didn't put enough pressure top lane and keep the wave buffed up. You were like too scared, not realizing how easy it is to survive, especially with the right items. But you also didn't build the right items. And then, you know, winning lane is also a big part of this. I just don't understand. Wow, Action's gross. Wait, I think you said... You said... At this point, Annie backs, I think, and I try to approach the wave, then Lee Sin appears. A little before 23 minutes, I push the wave and don't see any on the map. I only see Zach. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what we just saw. This right here. Yeah. So, a lot of issues here. No, Swifties trolling. Stop. I need to see another example of this. I need to see another example of something like this happening. To fully understand where you're struggling. Like here I explained this scenario. Like does this same thing happen when you win lane? Like when you're fed, do you have the same pain point where it feels like a lot of people come for you and you can't do anything about it? That's a good place to start, actually. So your main pain point is the team, like... So your main pain point is when you aren't fed and you're trying to split push. It feels difficult. Okay, now that is normal. That's what's it's supposed to feel that way. That's why, you know, we've put so much emphasis, or I've put so much emphasis on the laning phase. Because, like, you know, Fiora is a bit privileged in a way where, you know, even when she's behind, she can 1v1 people. But, you know, being able to 1v1 the enemy top laner and like doesn't necessarily mean the split push is easy, as you can see. So it should be a struggle. It should be very difficult. Split pushing without... Your sums are fine. Your sums are completely fine. It should feel very difficult to split push when you are not winning lane or like behind in any way. You're really not that far behind here. You're actually like even in gold with Zach, but you're level 14, so yeah, you're perfectly fine to split. It's just you need to be willing to be further up and buff the wave. That would have made this much easier. Now the other thing we talked about, which is important here, like Fiora lives in the side lane, but if your teammates are all fed, well, it depends what you think. So like if you're all fed but you still don't think you win a team fight, then sure, split. But if you're all fed like this, I don't think you guys should lose a team fight. You guys do have 4 armor shoes. I mean, that is the wild. That is like the... That is the issue here. I mean, Zach top is broken at the moment, so... So yeah, that's the main issue. That's the main issue there. Which I guess just means the real main issue is, like... Or, to sum it up, you shouldn't feel too, like... upset if you're not fed and you can't split push that well, because that's how it's supposed to feel. Only if the enemy team is like hard committing to grouping should you just like non-stop split. and it not feel like difficult even when behind. Do you go shoes for lane or overall comp? So the rule of thumb has always been for League, you usually are going shoes for the lane. But there are, like, exceptions depending on how fed you are, who the enemy laner is. Like, let's say the enemy team has a lot of AP, but you're against, like, Riven, and, like, you need the armor shoes. It depends how much you need those shoes for the lane. Like, for the 1v1 in the side lane. See what I'm saying? So if it's, like, a pretty weak top laner that you're bodying, and there's nothing they can do, and then the rest of the enemy team is, like, the opposite damage type, then you can go the other ones. But most of the time, you're going to be building for your lane.